Namaste and crystal blessings to my earthly, celestial, and elemental soul tribe in this realm and beyond. Nikki's back with the midweek peak, but not by the creek. Though I enjoyed a beautiful day yesterday by the lake with sunshine and blue skies, but today is doom, gloom, rainy, and we're expecting some snowfall tonight. So, yes, it's time for indoors. And Mama Moon is in Capricorn today, and but I will be doing a little oracle divination from the Herbiary deck, which I haven't done for some time now. But let's just dive into the Capricorn, Moon in Capricorn, okay? Because Capricorn is an Earth sign, a cardinal sign. Though we all have aspects of different zodiacs in our birth chart. But according to the Western astrology, my moon sign is in Capricorn. The Vedic, I'm not so sure now. So it may changes, but like I said, the characteristics somehow we have. And like today with the transit to Capricorn, we may feel certain aspects of that zodiac itself. So let's see a little characteristics of Capricorn. Is a go-getter, kind of, goal and very career oriented. If you're a Capricorn, that's your sun sign. And it's for setting up business or, a new project kind of thing. Very plan, based, taking action, to be resourceful, and being responsibility, one of those traits of Capricorns, to be in service of others, to have duties supporting others, and assisting and nurturing tasks is kind of important for a Capricorn energy. And finding realistic solutions to current problems. Okay, they're very realistic in nature, Capricorns. So I know I have that too because my moon is in Capricorn. So I have that I need to put out the truth, or, being an assistance for humanity as a whole is a natural thing for me. I have that drive, so it is it's kind of like inborn, innate ability that you have. So with this energy today, with the moon in Capricorn, you may feel a strong need. I mean, you can see that in collective now, to be useful or resourceful for a society in general, for justification on the outside world, to work for justice, to live your authentic self, to put it out there for the greater good of all. And if you're feeling a bit, low or demotivated, do not underestimate what you want from yourself for yourself, especially inner work, holistic healing works that we can pay attention to today. Just pampering yourself, with a good bath, if you have a bath. We don't have a bathtub here, so have something that heals you, mind, body, spirit. Try to do something creative, something that it all boils down to inner joy, like I always said, inward, anything to bring you bliss, insight. And whatever practices that you can do for yourself today to feel the serenity, peace, and to find your creative force. however you are driven towards that force. It may not be just artwork. It could be anything that tap into that your creative force to create something, to be innovative in your own way. It could be something so small and little, just creating a scrapbook, cutting out pieces, or just decorating your own space, rearranging things in your house, declutter. These are, forces that is positive in energy, because you're creating something that's going to bring you joy. It's a beautiful energy exchange. So it's time to tap into that. Do not underestimate. If you feel like it, you think you need it today, take a break. Okay, breathe. And breathe in, breathe out. Just heal. Stay in calmness. And do not be resentful if you're being ignored, because everyone is going through a very convoluted energetic times, because a lot is happening. As you, for those who are into energetic work, in the spiritual construct, you know what I'm talking about. So it's time to take a break, at least for yourself, for your own well-being. And do not, number one, this is very important, that never seek approval from the outside world, the external sources. Okay, to be that authentic you do not need approval. It's who you are. What makes you special, is that quality or the person you are. So you don't need to find approval from anyone, whether it's good or not, whether it's right, whether it's, it is accepted. What's important is accepted by you and you alone. That's it. And yes, of course, trust your inner values. Because when you tap into that inner creative force, it's when you can give out in hundredfold, as you can say. Because when we feel lack, when we have not taken care of ourselves, whether it's, feeling love thyself, or feeling the need to heal ourselves, or pay more attention to what, our need is. Sometimes we give too much without thinking about that person who's giving out. So it's very important. And also, I've written down some articles that also coincides with our bodily function, our organs. This is not a medical diagnostics or anything, okay? This is just a guideline, because certain astrological changes, we can feel it. Maybe not extreme, but just mild sometimes. So for Moon in Capricorn, it says that it can affect your knees, joints. If you already have an underlying medical problem in these areas, this is for someone who, then you can, if you need to take medication and you're already in certain diagnostic, then you have to go on with it. But this is for someone who felt totally okay, and then you're feeling all these different aches and cramps, uncomfortable adjustments in your body. So you may feel it in your backbones, your spinal muscles, your patella, some tenderness in bones, tendons, ligaments, and spleen, our skin and hair changes, organ of balance, which is the vestibular system, the equilibrium, of the liquid, usually, in our inner ears. But it's also because of these energies that is coming in. It's very powerful. The organic ones that is upgrading our DNA and our structure. We may be feeling this too. A lot of funny things that we've never felt before, because our body is readjusting to new frequencies, which is quite high. It is increasing by the day, by the hours. So it may not be felt by everyone, like I've always said, because it all depends on your level you are at now. Because someone who's getting there but is still not just there yet, like I said, it's all different frequencies, like tuning into a radio station. Sometimes you're neither here nor there. You can hear two stations. So it all depends on which level of frequency you are at, your wavelength. You may be feeling this readjustment either in a very mild or more extreme ways. So nothing to worry about. Like I said, if you're not going through any professional medical diagnosis, this is just the energies that is upgrading our system upgrade. And so that is our little moon in Capricorn characteristic and traits and things that we can look into. Even though you don't have your moon in Capricorn, but it's because the energies today with Mama Moon transiting today is like fully in Capricorn. So let's do a little sage, because I haven't done this card for some time. I'll do a little sage, this beautiful herbiary, tapping into the plant beings. Let me to this fire is like fire ceremony. You see the fire, yes. Receive positive energy with this beautiful sage. So let's sage the cards. And see what Mama Nature is telling us. A little divination. Whoops. Flips. Oh, there's 3 flips. Okay. So we may be doing the 3-card reading. Let's see the spread. Shall I just give... because I'm not picked. We'll just randomly go with the 3 cards. So we have Ladies Mantle for Fortitude, and we have Valerian for Release Rigidity, and Tulsi, You Are Sacred. Okay, this is the lady's mantle. Oh, this beautiful ginger tabby. Valerian. And Tulsi. If you go to India, most of the houses have this beautiful plant in front of the house. Even Malaysia, back in Malaysia, very powerful plant being indeed. So we will go and do lady's mantle first. Okay, the reflection. I will go directly to the reflection for ladies' mantle. Okay, it's fortitude. So it's face your shadow. When we avoid our own shadows, it's often because we feel we lack the strength to face them. We believe that they will overpower our light, or that our life will change irrevocably, and we doubt we have the fortitude to deal with that. Lady's mantle knows this isn't true. She knows unexplored dark spaces can become black holes, sucking at our happiness. Her faith in our strength is absolute. So a little caption there. Do you doubt your ability to visit dark forests and come out stronger and more whole? So when we talk about shadow work, okay, facing our own shadows, usually it says, people don't want to go there because it's scary. It is, our negative traits, our negative points. But no, shadows can also be where we have neglected, we have, not paid attention to that part of ourselves, the lack in it, as we are growing up, as a child, with all the other traumas that we have felt, whether it's the inner child trauma or as growing up as an adult, So to tap into a place where we have neglected, in that sense, time that we needed, maybe needed attention, needed love, needed, creativity, needed to voice out, needed to be our authentic self, which is the most important, but it was suppressed. So this could be our shadows that we have to face, because sometimes these shadows are the one is going to build up and make it, how we go on doing the mistakes over and over again, falling into, tapping into the lower energetic field because of this, because we have not dealt with what we have neglected about our needs. This could also be the shadow work, not is just the negative, part of ourselves, or, bad habits or things we have done. This is very important to heal, to go back and face our shadows. Times that we have felt lack of a lot of things growing up. So we have to have that, So this card is telling us to go into that dark forest, to face that shadow, because you will see lights. It's not just like the light in the end of the tunnel, but you probably see lights coming up from nature. Beautiful fireflies and fairy beings once you face that in that dark forest. So that is Lady's Mantle, Fortitude. And next is Valerian for Release Rigidity. That is page 72. So reflection. Okay, like I said, the earlier one was face your shadows. This is exploring shame. Shame is the feeling you get when you behave in a way that's antithetical to your ideals. We've all experienced big shames, necessary learning moments that allow us to fine-tune our moral compass But when we allow our thinking to become overly rigid or self-righteous, we create a million corrosive small shames. Think about when you last felt ashamed. I'm sure we all have felt, in some way or another during our lifetime. We're still, going through. Go back there and heal that part. It's nothing to be ashamed. This life is for us to learn from right and wrong that we think it's wrong. It's because when we have hurt someone, we have not stood up for justice or have the voice of our own, to stand up of truth in whichever way that we have felt ashamed, not doing much, not, extending that helping hand when someone needed at that time. The times when we behave in a way, that is selfish, because we are learning. There's nothing to be ashamed in this lifetime. But that will, this is not to say that, you've done something really cruel, like taking another life, in that sense of, that is something that you have to, really delve into and sit. But if someone's going to say that, okay, I think I've done this on purpose because out of jealousy or anger, but as long as it's not to the extreme of taking another life, whether it's human or, animal being, another living, breathing being, as long as it's not to that extreme, there's always salvation. Even for that, there's salvation. I mean, I can't say it is not wrong. Of course, when you come to a very high spiritual module, they will always tell you there's no right and wrong. But when you see a cruelty, life being taken in such a manner, to our humanly, how can you say it's not wrong? It is wrong. It is universal law. You shouldn't do that. It's, it doesn't apply. But you need to come to a certain point to know, to actually see it beyond a 3D, I can say, if you want to try to understand that right and wrong. But we're not going into that now. So and it also says what ideal did you not quite live up to? Okay, looking back, was your shame attached to unnecessarily rigid thinking? Is there a way to be kinder while still being true to yourself? Shame is the dream killer, because shame, or the possibility of shame, amplifies our fear of fear, keeps us from contributing, and short circuits our willingness to explore. By Seth Godin. So if it's not in the context of, like I said, brutally taking another life to that extreme, and then you feel like, okay, I felt ashamed, even then there is salvation for it, I guess, from the higher perspective. But who am I to say this? But this applies to all other areas, except for that maybe, but all other areas of your life that you have felt ashamed. So you can always go back to that place, visit that place, and heal that place, just like the forest, just like, our shadows. This is part of the shadows too, feeling ashamed. Or made to be feel ashamed. Sometimes it's not us, but the external energies, the outside world made us feel that way for some reason. Being teased upon, I felt that when I was growing up as a child, So being bullied. So yes, and it's very important to reflect upon all this. This is a shadow work, as we call upon it. And also rest. Valerian is, it's all about resting and tapping into and not feeling ashamed. If you feel lazy and you just want to sleep like a cat, like the card, this beautiful ginger tabby sleeping, do not feel ashamed. You need that. We all need much needed rest now. That's Valerian. And Tulsi, you are sacred. It's beautiful. Tulsi is 8. So Tulsi also called holy basil. They always, you can see them in South Asia planted. So the reflection is, what if you are holy? Tulsi's benediction. What if you are holy just as you are? What if you don't need to be more spiritual, more kind, more anything? What if you acknowledge yourself just the way you already are, as a sacred being? How would that thought shift who you are and how you show up in the world? Because sometimes what makes us is what the world has told us, what people, family, friends, as we are growing up, is a programming. What is all the other information have told us what we actually are as a person. But, if we're going to unprogram all that, okay, this is what my parents told me, the first connection we have with our parents or foster or grandparents, whoever that brought us up as a child. When we start, removing the layers of, programming, what this person have told me, then your friends, then your, education, when you're in school, your teachers, and then when you start working, then your circle of people, your extended relatives, families, circle of friends, colleagues, and what do you call that? Just people people down the street, the woman from, your grocery store or something. So this is all programming. Sometimes we think that's what we are and sometimes people who have gone through abusive relationship, family life, a lot of negativity has been put into our growing up to become who we are now. So we need to take all that, unplug it, because that's not who we are. That's what we were told who we are. So if we're going to remove all that, what remains? Like what the card asks, what if you are holy? What if you are, what you don't need to be more spiritual or more kind or anything, because you are already, that is who you are. But we become who we are, after all this other intrusion, you can say, to our pure energetic grid, the intrusion of all the other energies that made us sometimes bitter, resentful, very dense, feeling all that. And then it becomes a part of our lives, it becomes a cycle. We keep making and going into, tapping into that same energy over and over again, because it is with you now. Meet who you are now, which is not you. So we need to tap into that authentic self, to do the shadow work, to remove the shame, all this thing, there's a lot of layers. Can you imagine, depending on your age, if you're in the 20s, 30s, 40s, It builds up the years, the hours, every moment of experience have built up who you are right now. Like me, for example, at 49. But like I said, most of my life has been solitary. It's not been fantastic. I had a rough childhood. Trying to be my own motivator, my own advisor, my own shoulder to cry on, my own mentor. Sometimes you have a person who guide you, along the way. But for me, I think it has always been a spiritual guidance from my guides, angels, the source, given energy, elementals, who was there to pick me up every time I fell, because I know they were there, the unseen forces, but for me, I know that I picked myself up every time I fell. And I sort of like gradually cut off connections that doesn't serve me anymore to find that authentic self. It wasn't easy. What the world has told me who I was supposed to be. It was a painful journey. I went through that. And I know I can vouch for that. So to find your holy, we are all born holy. We are all born innocent. We are all born with pure love of the maker, of our creator. But not everyone turned out to be like that because of the experiences, the influences of the external world. So our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. Marianne Williamson, Return to Love. It's true, because if from young we were taught to embrace our authentic self, the most powerful being, that radiant of love and light and everything else, how would we be? We are superhumans, totally sovereign and divine. That's how we're supposed to be, but no. So with all this programming that has been suppressing us, putting us down, it's like layers of bricks, like the whole building now sitting on top of us. That is not a very good energy. Pressing on, it is difficult for us it frightens us to finally see our light, because, it could be almost blinding. It could be almost, driving you nuts, because it's just too much. You don't want to see it sometimes. And that is why psychologically, when someone who has gone through abuse for many years, sometimes it's difficult for them to get out of that cycle, because it frightens them to see the beauty of life, the magic of life again, that how it's supposed to be, because they're so used to being in that. Like I said, it's the moment you rewrite your own thoughts. We are the creators of our reality. Everything else can try to mold us and dominate us if we allow, of course. But most of the times we allow it, not knowing. It's not our fault. That's when sometimes we feel ashamed. Times that we have let ourselves to be, taken for granted, being used off by someone. So this is not who we are. We can always tap back into that. Go into the forest, into the dark forest. Face the darkness. Face our shadows. Heal ourselves. And like Valerian, tap into the times we have felt shame because of our own doing, or the, doings of others unto us. Tap into that to finally feel your sacredness, because you are holy. You are sovereign. You are divine being of the Creator. You're the spark of the light, of the fire. So I hope this beautiful reading connected to you if you needed this today, who have been feeling, because we all need this. No matter how we felt we have done that work, it is an ongoing process. We always need to tap back over and over again until we are fully healed. But sometimes, like I said, it is a cycle. Nobody's like fully, until we are still in this avatar, this human avatar in this beautiful realm. It is a process of flow, And there are so many areas of our lives, not only in this lifetime, our previous lifetimes. There's so many different aspects of our lives that needs to be healed, especially in 2020. So I wish you all the highest vibration of love as always, and may you be filled with light and love and healing of our Creator, Source energy, and courage to face through. So stay brave, be the authentic you, find the authentic you, so we can be, we can give out productively out with the collective together. In Lakesh, namaste.